Hi everybody, welcome back to Steps by Steph. In today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 ways to avoid flat hair. Now flat hair is something quite typical of somebody with fine hair. I have fine hair, so this is something that I've been battling with for years, and these tips I'm about to show you are things I've picked up over the years to try and bulk my hair out. These 5 tips that I'm going to show you are just things that I've picked up and work for me. By all means, this is just a guide. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, this works perfectly for me, so it's going to work perfectly for you. It may not. My hair and your hair are different, but this is just a little something to show you what works for me and perhaps will work for you. So let's get started. Top tip number 1. Now, we're going to start with blow drying. Once you've washed your hair, don't towel dry. Towel drying is one of the easiest, quickest ways to break and damage your hair, because people go in with a towel and they're really rough like this and it snaps and it roughs up the hair's cuticle and it gets frizzy, but we'll move on to that in another video. So you want to just squeeze the water out of your hair. It's just natural today. I've not done a thing with it, so I'll show you how to achieve a bit of volume in there. I've rambled. Back to blow drying. With blow drying, firstly, some people use products, other people don't. With fine hair, it's hard to find the balance with products, because you don't want something that's going to weigh your hair down and essentially make it flat and overload it and make it greasy, but at the same time with fine hair it needs a boost of something, so it does need a product. It's finding the right products. Now I have 2 that I flip between. One is TG's Bedhead Small Talk, and that looks like that. And the other one is Bedhead, again by TG, Superstar Queen for a Day Thickening Spray. Now, there's a reason I flip between these 2. Firstly, they both smell different, smell lovely, and I can never really decide which one I like the most. I kind of like them the same, I guess. But, right, Small Talk, it's a cream. It is a pump like this, I'll just show you. And it's, being a cream, it's a bit heavier than a spray. Now I don't use a full pump, I use about half a pump, and I rub it through my hands and I distribute it through my hair. And then I probably give it a little brush through, either with a comb, like a wide tooth detangling comb, or with one of these little fellas, little tangle teasers. I love them, got them everywhere. So yes, you can either go with the Small Talk and that will work, but personally on my hair, because it is fine, I don't like to use a full pump. Half a pump is sufficient, otherwise I feel like it's a bit heavy, but that's my personal opinion. This one, the Superstar Queen for a Day, is a spray, and it's very lightweight, and if I just spray a bit on my hand, it kind of goes a bit like a mousse, but it's not, it's liquidy, and you can hardly feel like you've got anything in your hair, which is fantastic. So you tend to just give it a little shake and spray it at your roots again, and then I'll just sort of distribute it throughout my hair just like that, and then you're good to blow dry. Now blow drying, the actual technique itself, you can be all fancy and go for a round brush like this, and being a hairdresser, I know how to do this round brush technique. However, if you're not sure yourself, it can take a while to practice. When you're practicing, you can pull your hair, it can get tangled, and when it gets tangled, I'm telling you now, it flipping hurts. So this is an option if this is what you want to go for. The bigger the brush, the more volume you're going to get. But a fail-safe option that I personally use myself, even though I am a hairdresser and I can use the brush, I literally take my hairdryer, flip my hair upside down, literally blow dry upwards at my hair. And this, like when you flip your hair back over, it's out here and you look like the wild woman of Borneo or something, and it's fantastic and it's great because it's so huge, and that it works every time for me. It really works. If it's a little bit frizzy because I've had it over, I will then go in with my brush and I'll just sort of smooth out just maybe the top section. Okay, top tip number 2. Right, so your hair's dry like mine is now. It's not massively volumized because this is like day old hair for me, so ignore what it looks like now. Once it's blow dried, it's massive. Okay, so now you either, like some people like to curl their hair, wave their hair, straighten their hair, however you want to wear your hair. fine, up to you. Now, whether I'm curling, straightening or waving, I always use my hair straighteners. Well, I say always, I'd say probably about 85% of the time, always go for my straighteners. Just because it's that one thing that I can do everything with, and I haven't got to mess around with other appliances and finding them and getting plugs and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to switch them on, and I'm just going to go for quite, not like a straight look, but maybe just a wavy tousled look today. And literally all I'm going to do is put my hair, section my hair half up, half down, clip away the top half. Now, you wouldn't think that straightening and the way you straighten your hair would have a massive, would have a massive effect on how high or flat your hair sits, but it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and this is where you use another product, heat protector spray. This is TG Catwalk. This video is by no way endorsed by TG, I just really like their products. This is the flat iron spray. It's quite a light spray, and that's what I like about it, because some heat protect sprays, they're kind of in bottles like this and they come out and they're a wet spray, whereas this feels a little bit more like a hairspray, so it goes on dry. And when it goes on dry, it means it's not re-wetting your hair, it's not taking away all of those blow drying techniques you've gone for, and it's not dragging it down by bogging it down with product. So literally, don't do it here, just literally an arm's length away and a slight mist, and that's all you need. Okay, so when you want to straighten or curl or whatever you're going to do, pull your hair out from your head at a 90-degree angle. If you straighten it down here, you're encouraging the root to just go flat down, whereas if you go out here, you're encouraging it to go outwards, and of course your hair's not going to stick out here, but it will just create a nice little bit of lift at the root. So I'll demonstrate. So I'm just going to go for a wavy look. I'm going to start close at the root, just do a 90-degree turn with my straighteners and pull them down. And it doesn't give me a massively curly look, but it gives me a nice wave. And it just gives you a little tiny bit more lift at the roots than you may have had. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not going to make you have huge hair, but it's going to help. So again, all the way throughout the hair, this is a big section, because with waves I don't really want small sections, otherwise they'll end up curls. Holding my hair outwards, straighteners at like 90 degrees at the root. Just pull it through. This looks like a huge section of hair, but trust me, it all turns out okay. And as you can see, all it really is just a little bend on the end, because when you have quite fine hair and it is quite flat, sometimes wearing it poker straight can just kind of accentuate the fact that it's quite flat. Sometimes it can just make it look even flatter. And I often find if your hair is fine, then popping a curl or a wave in it adds texture. And when you've got texture, it looks like you've got more hair than you actually have, which is always a fantastic trick. Right, so now I've done the bottom. What I'm going to do is let that top section down. And this bit here around my parting, just kind of a rectangle. I'll pin it up. Out of the, well, pin it, I say pin it, I mean section it. Okay, heat protect. And again, like, I'm taking huge sections because I just want a loose wave, but whatever it is you're doing, always 90 degrees. Right, so once you've successfully curled, straightened, waved, whatever it was you were doing here, you move on to this top bit, and I just let it down and I let it fall on my parting. Now, we've been holding the hair out at 90 degrees, and this is where it gets fun and you look crazy. You take your section of whatever it was you were doing, hold it up vertical from your head, and you pop your straighteners in. And then you just carry on doing what you were doing. Now, it doesn't create, again, masses of lift, but it just gives a little bit of bump into the hair there, and you just carry on doing that all around the head, holding it up vertically. like so. There we are. So once you've done that, as you can see here, there's a little bit of lift, and that's good. That's what we want, because the thing we're trying to avoid is having it slicked to our heads. So far so good. Now, whatever you've done, find yourself a nice lightweight hairspray. A lot of the stronghold ones feel crispy and feel like you spray it on and your hair's going to snap off like a crisp or something. Find yourself a nice lightweight medium hold spray for fine hair, and just literally, again, arm's length away, mist it. And that's all you need. I mean, even if you're you're not quite so confident of how much you want to spray it in the air and walk into it. It just literally gives you a nice little bit of hold without going absolutely nuts on it. Top tip number 3, I think. Yeah, 3. Right. So, top tip number 3. Choosing the right products for your hair. Now, by this I mean styling products. I mean, by all means, if that's all you want to do, leave it there. But you, as I said with the hairspray, that's a good styling product, a good tip to find a medium lightweight hold. Okay, so there's all sorts on the market now. Salt spray. Spray it in, I will show you. Spray it in, mist it again, arm's length, scrunch, wonderful texture, volume, the works, and that's really good. This one is the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Mermaid Look Texturizing Salt Spray, and I really like salt sprays. To be honest, I wasn't sure about them when they first came out, but now, big fan. With the salt spray, not on the roots. You don't spray it on the roots, just on the ends, because if you put anything wet on our roots now, we've tried to achieve this volume, it's just going to wetten it down and the whole thing's just going to return back to its natural state. So, ends and mid-length only, scrunch it through that way. Light mist. We're not going 90s wet look here. Okay, next we have got some texturizing powders. This one, Schwarzkopf Got to Be. I guess I like that range as well. This one's Powderful Volumizing Styling Powder. And this one is Bedhead TG Sugar Dust. Pretty much the same. This one's a lot lighter than this one. And I will just demonstrate to you. I'll demonstrate to you with this one on this side and that one on the other side. Okay, so you take the lid off and it looks like a little salt shaker. Take a little section, lift it over to reveal like a parting, and then just tap it down. You don't need a lot of this stuff because it will just go gross if you put too much. Pop that over, put your fingers in, just give it a little rub around and a little bit of oomph. As you can see, that's just lifted the hair nicely on that side, giving us a nice bit of oomph. Now I'll show you the TG Sugar Dust. Similar product, but it's a lot lighter. And again, pop parting over, sprinkle it on, and then just rub. Now, the reason that we can put these products on our roots and not the salt spray is because these are dry and they're not going to return the hair back to the natural state in any way, shape or form. So I really like them. They're really good, and so for me, these are a staple product. I really like them. Right, now, my last product that I love, and this is my go-to product, people forget that you can use this for styling, and that is dry shampoos. Now, these, of course, fantastic for getting an extra day out of not washing your hair. Perfect for festivals, things like that, where you haven't got hair washing facilities at your hand. However, they work fantastically for fine hair, for adding texture, for, you know, giving volume, for adding texture to styles. It's great. How it works is that you spray it on and it leaves a layer of product. Now, if you think of a sponge, like a dry sponge, and you pop that dry sponge in water, it expands when it soaks up the water. Dry shampoo does the same thing. You apply the product to your hair and the product soaks up the grease and oil and the dirt from your hair, and it goes from a fine layer to just, obviously not massive, but it just absorbs and it lifts your hair a little bit, which is great. I love this stuff, I really do. I've got two here. I've got the Batiste Original Dry Shampoo and I have the TG Bedhead OB Hive. Great name. Because I was kind of trying, like, doing a high street versus salon product thing. My synopsis: Both do the trick, both really good. This one's slightly heavier than this one. Both smell great. This one smells amazing, like all of their products do. Again, in no way sponsored by TG, just really like their stuff. Yeah, so whichever one you go for, really, they'll both do the trick. And literally, I'll just show you with the Batiste. All you do, give it a little shake, pop it, like kind of lift your hair up a bit, and on the part-ins from arm's length away, just a little spray. Oh, it smells so nice. It's so like, it's quite zesty, that one, so it smells fresh, and it just helps to keep your hair a little bit heightened. So they're my tips on products. Again, these work for me, may or may not work for you, no guarantees. Top tip number 4. Now, backcombing. Some people like it, some people really don't. Completely up to you, whatever floats your boat. Now, I like a bit of backcombing personally. Helps keep hair in place. Now with backcombing, you can either use a backcombing brush, otherwise known as a prestige brush, which backcombing brush works, or use a comb with the wide tooth end. An everyday thing, you don't need a lot, you just need something to heighten your hair and keep it there. And a lot of people are quite sceptical with backcombing because of damage. By all means, I'm not going to say that this is good for your hair. It does cause some damage, but the trick is knowing how to remove it and doing it properly with using the correct tools. So all I do with my backcombing brush is at the back of my parting at the crown, I will literally take a section of hair, probably about ½ an inch to an inch wide, comb that upwards, and I pop my brush in and push it down, and I literally do that twice. On a night out, I can understand you going for it more, but for every day you only need it twice. And I'll take another section just below that and do exactly the same thing again. I'll let them flop back over to where they want to go, and all I do is literally just smooth it over so you can't see tangles. And then you can take your fingers in there and just push it up slightly. And another thing I like to do is just take it along the parting, lift a hair up, and I literally probably just pop 2 in there as well. Smooth them over. Run your hands through, and there you go, you've got some height to your hair. Pretty easy. Now removing backcombing, depending on how much, sorry I got really itchy nose, depending on how much you've put in, I recommend a tangle teaser or a wide tooth comb, and you start at the bottom and work your way up. If you've put lots of backcombing in, don't try it. Just get in the shower or hang your head over a bath, wash your hair and put loads and loads of conditioner on, then grab your wide tooth comb and comb it out. Still going to be slightly sore, but just don't go nuts on it. Don't go hacking at your hair, just do it gently, soft motions, and you should be absolutely fine. Last but not least, top tip number 5. Once you've done all this, leave it alone. Forget you even have hair if you like, just do not for the life of you touch it. Because if you start, you know, you go to your friends, oh look at my hair today, it's lovely, it's really nice, and you've done all that and you're pulling it down. And as for combs and brushes, forget you own one. Literally halfway through the day, if you're feeling a little flat, take the tips of your fingers, just then push them up, and that's all you need to do. Don't pull at the ends or anything like that, or flatten it down or anything like that. Once you've done all of this to achieve your height, leave it, just don't touch it. So that is it from me today. Really hope you found this helpful. It's something that I can relate to because I've got quite flat hair naturally. So thumbs up, subscribe. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon with another video. Bye!